So Slack, as some of you would know, is one of the fastest growing platforms, productivity platforms that we have. So Slack is present in almost 150 plus countries. That is where we have our customers. We have almost 200,000 customers who actually use Slack to power their day-to-day transformation at the workplace. So this is quite widely used productivity platform, which is used by customers not only in India, but across the world. So just keep moving. I know the world is going through an inflection point. I think all of us are trying to do more with less. If you look at every organization is trying to make sure they get best ROI of the investments that they are making. We really want to make sure that we are utilizing our budgets more effectively and efficiently. And hence, there is a lot of pressure on the organizations to make sure that they drive best productivity and they just don't keep adding people in order to do that, because that's not the way that we're really going to lean going forward. But it's more about that how do you survive and thrive in today's world, which is so challenging as we speak. It's fine now? Okay, wonderful. Thank you. So I was just alluding to the global environment that all of us are in. I think all of us will appreciate that there is a lot of uncertainty around. Every organization wants to do more with less. And hence, it is very important that we as an organization focus on productivity, we focus on efficiencies, and we focus on doing more with less. That's the new mantra with which most organizations are going forward to gain that competitive advantage. So if I talk about Slack, so Slack basically is the productivity platform which really transforms the way that you work. If you look at the outer three layers, those are the three big pillars that Slack enables every organization towards. The first one is around accelerating work with automation. This is super important because Slack is one of the easy to use tools which can help you build those capabilities and the workflows which can really help you automate the routine tasks that you have to do. Just to give you an example, for me as a CFO, for example, I do all my approvals today in Slack, whether that is the team's approval, whether that is any expense approval or any other approval that I need to do for my team. I need not go to any other interface. It is all inbuilt into Slack in the form of workflows. Another important thing about Slack is this is one of the most open ecosystems that you will find. So it actually could integrate with almost 2,000 plus applications, which all of you would be using at any different point of time. And you can also make custom applications within your organizations that can find its way into the Slack. So from that perspective, Slack just becomes your one interface to go with, where everything that you need to do on a day-to-day perspective can pretty much happen and get integrated on the Slack platform itself. So it is to the extent that today I have stopped using emails. I hardly use emails. My day starts with Slack, and then everything from the day to the end which pretty much happens there, and that is my last platform or application that I use before I go to sleep. So it's so easy to build applications, and it is one of the most open ecosystems where all your apps with respect to security, productivity, your internal headcount management applications, all of that can be inbuilt into the same platform. So imagine a workflow that you go in your daily jobs, and just everything can happen there. It saves us a lot of time and a lot of hassle, and we can focus that much time and effort back to the core work that we are supposed to do. Once the automation, the second point is sharing and searching knowledge. I think Slack as a platform enables you to create those channels. So those channels could be internal or external. You could access control those channels, and those channels really help you connect with your teams, to the projects, to your customers, or wherever you need to do that. So just to again give you an example, for example, we at Salesforce are a global finance team, and when we do the annual planning activity, there are people all around the world who are actually working on that annual planning. So we have a Slack channel between us where we just pick up the conversations as and when the person wakes up. You are able to share the documents on the same Slack channel. It is access controlled. You could search the history whenever you need to go at. So it has become so seamless and so easy that you could pick up the conversations as you go within those Slack channels itself, and need not struggle here and there in terms of how is the conversation happening and where are you going in terms of those documentations. Another struggle that we typically get in some of these chat groups and productivity platforms is the search, right? We all struggle to search in terms of, okay, what was the conversation that last happened? So I think Slack used AI-powered search so that you could search at any conversation, any history, at any point of time previously. So Canvas, I think, is just another advancement of what we will be going through. So we will release another feature in Slack, which is more structured form of collaboration and network sharing. So then you will be able to take notes and minutes and everything live on the Slack itself, and then you will be able to share that with each other. So imagine the amount of sharing that could happen on the Slack itself, with different people sitting in different parts of the organization can all have access to the similar channel, and they could pick up conversations, as they go. Just the last piece which you see on the right, and it goes back to my top priorities from a CFO perspective, is the whole talent piece, right? Today, all companies are following different approach. Some are hybrid, some are back to work, some are 70% back to office and all of that. Irrespective of where you are, you need that platform to engage with employees, right? You need that feeling of just walking up and saying hello to your employees. So I think Slack enables that, where you could just do a quick huddle, which is like an audio or a video call that you could do with anybody in your organization impromptu, and then you will be able to contact with that person. You could have clips, which is the feature that I use very regularly. If I need to disseminate any message to my India team, I will quickly record a video and just send out a message, and everybody can look at their leisure. So this as a platform enables you to record a quick videos, which you can really send out to the audience and the teams, and they can actually look at whenever they need to from their perspective. And then, of course, Slack connects. Slack is not only an internal tool, it helps you or enables you to connect with your customers, partners, ecosystem into the same platform. So this is the 360-degree view of what Slack brings on the table, right from automation to the talent experience. So as a CFO or as a finance person, it really makes my job a lot more easier, because I know there is a platform which me and my team are working on, which is really keeping us more productive, keeping us more secure. It is digitizing everything that we are working at. It is really helping me share knowledge with each other. And then we as finance teams can focus more on the business partnership side, I think, which is what Hoshi spoke about, that how do you add more value to the strategic direction of the organization. But if your back-end ecosystem is not taken care of, I have seen most finance teams struggle just to keep the basic things into place, right? There is no one place for documentation. There is no one place for collaboration. Your team is struggling in terms of how do they contact and connect with each other. So just imagine this platform that could give you that so many features, so that you as a finance professional can just focus on your front end and just make sure that you are delivering that value to the organization that you need to. So just moving on, some numbers, and this is a study that we have done basis the worldwide customers who have implemented some of our Slack products. So the people or the organizations who have implemented Slack have really seen that their teams are actually 49% more productive. So I think it just goes to the fact that today there are so much of inefficiencies which are there within an organization, and while we try to be and strive for a profitable organization, we generally tend to lose the sight on what the basics we could fix, and then we could add a lot of value already. So the Slack customers are really seeing a significant improvement in the productivity, and they are seeing a lot of people are freeing up their time so that they could focus on their core, which is more to the strategic direction that your organization is going to work towards. Yeah, so just on the next slide, I will try and give so assuming that a company has now, implemented Slack as a platform, so different teams could take different types of advantages and benefits out of this platform. So imagine that some of the benefits that I spoke about in terms of automation, workflows, and the productivity. So your sales team in the process gets more time in front of the customers. A lot of time, our clients reached out to us and they say that their sales teams are too caught up in their internal processes, internal systems, finding data, getting their forecast done and all of that stuff. So imagine if all of your applications are actually built into the one platform that you could use at a daily basis, then your sales team could be that much more focused towards your customers. And that's what we have seen. So the companies which have implemented Slack are actually able to see 28% increase in their sales productivity. And this is a gold mine today, right? You would want your seller to do more in the current scenario. I don't think we are in a situation where we will keep adding people, but you would want your current team to have higher productivity. And this is exactly what we are looking at. So every company wants to improve their top line. And imagine that if you are taking care of the core, then your sales team could focus more on the customers, and then they could add more value back to their organization. Similarly, on the service efficiency, I know a lot of us support our customers in the post implementations or post go live or in any form that you come from. So if you have a Slack as a platform that you could interact with, that you could collaborate with internally, we have seen that the response time back to the customer in terms of solving their query has reduced. And as a result, the cost per ticket in order to handle any query or customer incident that you get has actually come down by 15% by the customers and the companies who have really implemented Slack. So imagine a scenario, if you as a customer log a ticket, then the people get activated. There are 4 people collaborating on Slack just to see what's the right solution, and then they are quickly offered back to the customer. So it is so much efficient process today. If you really need to go back to the customer, it not only reduce your time to customer, but it also helps you reduce your ticket per cost per ticket, so that you know that's relevant. Amplifying marketing impact. I think marketing, as many of you would agree, is becoming more personalized. We really want to make sure that we're getting the right ROI back from the investments that we are making on the marketing perspective. And Slack really enables you to be that much more targeted in terms of your marketing campaigns and marketing practices. And then, of course, that we are able to see a lot faster execution once you are onto the Slack as a platform. And then eventually, of course, it all boils down to saving your cost. You could consolidate a lot of your systems. You could work onto a large platform, and which integrates very well with all of your other applications. And as a result, we have seen the companies have reduced their IT costs significantly who have gone on Slack. And of course, as a result, the return on investment on this platform has actually gone up significantly. So these are just some of the examples. So I just want to show that how the Slack is an organization-wide use case, where all of your respective teams, depending on the function that they are at, will be able to add that much more value in which they are operating. And again, if you look at in your own worlds as CFOs, I think just to have this collaborative platform, you as a finance team can become a lot more productive. Your team can stay engaged. You could share documentations with each other on a real-time basis. You could remove that people dependency, which we all feared about, that we don't want to create too much of people dependency, but want to make sure there is a platform which really takes care of that. And then you can truly become the business partner with Mr. Hoshi spoke about, and you can focus more on value-added activities that will drive real value and will accelerate your journey to being a CEO, as he famously put that. So just the last one before I close. I think these are just some of the customer references. So not only in India, but worldwide, we have some large customers who are enterprise-wide on Slack. And they have seen this tremendous power of this platform, which has not really helped them improve productivity, but in fact given them greater outcomes from the investment that they are making. And it is really helping them accelerate and focus more on the top line and the core vision and the core activity of the organization that they work at, rather than spending time on too many inefficiencies that they have internally. So with that, I know I'm right on time. So again, thank you so much. So we have a full Slack team in the house today. So if any one of you wants to understand about any of this functionality in a little bit more detail, feel free to catch hold of them, and they will be happy to provide you any more details on that. Yes, so I can give you practical experience because I have worked on both, and I'm sure a lot of you actually work on a lot of platforms. So my personal experience, and again, I have experts in the room who can answer that better because I'm like you, a finance guy. So from a user perspective, where I find Slack a lot easier is number one, the whole integration piece. I think Slack has the most open ecosystem today amongst any other platform, especially Microsoft Teams. And hence, as a result, all the applications that you use internally or all the custom applications that your organization uses, you will be able to integrate that seamlessly with Slack, which I have found it great difficulty when I have worked on the other platform that you spoke about. So the whole integration of the workflows with all applications, which really makes it a lot easier for you to work as a professional, is far, far more richer in this application that I have worked at. And the second thing that I have seen is, of course, the ease of use, right? Ease of use, if you look at from a finance perspective in particular, we guys generally would want to play around with the technologies which is easier to use, right? Because we are not decoders. So a technology from a user perspective has to be easier. You could create your own workflows. You could create your own channels. You could create your own ecosystem. You could learn that pretty fast. So I find that Slack is a lot easier tool to use as compared to the other tool that you spoke about. And of course, the big integration piece, which really differentiates it. You want to add anything specifically? We covered? Okay.
Hi.
I hope that addresses, but again, we can connect offline. Yeah.
So it's good to hear the finance guy, talking about the marketing
I'm
part.
happy about that as well,
piece.
that I have been able to do that.
So my question is Slack when you talk about the integration, is it the broader integration part that you're talking about, or there is a niche integration that you're also taking care? Specifically, when very few people are taking or understanding the broader perspective of the social media. Like say, for example, I'm just giving an example. Let's say I am more into LinkedIn. So is Slack is providing me a very specific niche feature, or it is just a broad canvas integration that you're talking about?
See, Slack basically, LinkedIn is your social media platform, right? Which is more of your external facing. So Slack is much broader, which provides you those secure channels where you could connect to, right? Slack is, of course, one is internal, where you could connect with your teams, your business partners, or anybody in your organization, and you can create that secure channel through which you could connect. And then you could connect your partner community, your customer community in the Slack itself. So Slack is a lot more, right? It allows you to share information. It allows you to share documentation. You can do audio, video calls on the Slack. You could create the minutes of the meeting and that could continue. So it is like a running thread that you could maintain 360 degrees,
So
right?
I got it. So I wanted to check. Let's say I'm only going to use one channel, which is the LinkedIn channel, and I'm going to have all these features, which is the minutes of the meeting, sharing.
Yeah.
Inside that particular channel only. So is it possible in Slack? This is what
Yeah.
my question
So,
is.
Go ahead.
sorry.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
So I think yes, that is possible. So basically, the intent of Slack is to create a single unified engagement platform or engagement window rather for an employee. What I mean by that is, if as an individual, and I'll touch the team aspect of it, as an individual today, as simple as I need to apply for a leave. What I do in my today's job is I go to a subscribe platform, I put my login credentials and all of that, go apply leave, pick and choose whatever it is, and then my manager does the same thing when he or she has to approve it. I can do that with a single click on Slack. That's my productivity aspect of it. It may be any application, it may be the success factors, workdays, or it may be an application that you have built on HRMS which needs a customization to be brought in. That's point number one. Point number two is team, right? Today, how many of us work in an environment where there's cross-functional teams coming together and collaborating? Finance, sales, services, all of them coming together. Typically, most of the CFOs that we talk about, or even leaders that we talk about, they talk about this is all done on an email. Email is very personalized. I get an email, I will respond whenever I want to, right? Or I'm traveling, I can't respond. And that sort of impacts everybody's ability to keep working through that. Now, essentially, to your point, Slack as a channel where all these teams are together can be brought together. There can be a canvas like he spoke about, which is a feature coming up where you can actually maintain notes or whatever information needs to be shared. Even beyond that, if, for example, I am a new member to the team, I am involved in a particular project from a day when the project has been running for 2 months. Now, I need to engage with different people to understand wahan ho kya raha hai. But if based on the AI-based search capabilities, I can just in that channel search and I can get all the previous information that is needed, essentially, which was discussed, which was signed off. Even though there are people who have left those projects or whatever it is, I have everything there so that I don't lose on my productivity to trying to speak to 30 people to try and get information, which is all there, documented and everything available in that channel. And you can do this enterprise-wide as well.
And I think your point is specific that can these integrations happen at a channel level. So general integration is at an application level, and within that you could create those channels, which could be secure channels, right? You could control the access of people who could actually come into those channels and whom do you want to collaborate with. So then the integration which has happened will naturally flow into those Slack channels, but you can access control that by the users who want to use that, if that helps.
And one key challenge that we face, and we talk to a lot of leaders like you, is most of us work in a regulated industry today. And a lot of collaboration today is still happening on WhatsApp, where people don't even know where that information is going. Where is that information going? Do I even know if people who have left my organization have somebody gone and deleted them from that WhatsApp list and so on and so forth? I think all those challenges, obviously in a secured way for an enterprise platform like Slack, can be taken care of, because at the end of the day, this will integrate with your security posture as well. So essentially, it's what security posture you follow, And a lot of CFOs are today bothered about the SEBI and guidelines and all, because they directly bring the data protection responsibility with the board and the leaders of the organization, which is a huge challenge today, right, in terms of the data protection aspect of it. So that is again a challenge that we're trying to address.
Thank you. Thank you.